short schedule here in order to accommodate Sue here, who we said we'd probably be over here and with the regular session in about an hour, and then have a half an hour for Sue at minimum, as long as she's available to stay. So this is the September meeting of the PEG Access Advisory Committee, and it's being recorded. And we have a quorum, so if I can have a motion to convene here. And second?
Seconded.
And so let's vote.
All those in favor?
In favor?
Aye.
Everyone? And Vince Carlson, I say aye. So we will start with the beginning of our agenda. And the first one was to, excuse me. That's from the last meetings. I believe that we're through all of the earlier meetings, including May. Oh, hi. Oh, hi, Cynthia. How are you?
Good, how are you?
Good.
And Terry's on too, isn't she?
Yeah.
Yes. Yes.
Okay, so
Yes, that's Terry.
we have everybody but Megan then. So we're postponing the minutes for June because the audio was kind of bad. I think I have enough hand notes that so that we can go ahead and finish those.
You sign me in.
So the future meeting dates, why don't we get to them? Right away. So this will be through the end of the year, October through December. And we've been holding them typically for the beginning of the month, actually. Usually on the first Thursdays of the month. But there's no reason to do that, and considering that we're meeting later this month. If everybody has any preferences for a fixed time, I guess it would be useful if we could have a fixed time each month.
Is this a good time?
I don't know.
That's Susan. Susan, is this a good time?
For me, so Friday, first Friday of the month, is that what you're thinking about, or just Fridays? At 2:30 your time?
We usually do Thursdays. Is that an issue?
Okay, Thursday, okay, what Thursday? First 30th Thursday of the month? Is that what you're saying, like we did before?
Well, it is convenient to have it the same schedule every month.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So no,
So
I'm just trying to clarify because there was dates thrown around here and I wasn't sure exactly what I was being asked. So we're talking first Thursday of the month at 2:30 your time.
I'm going to jump in. This is a terrible time for me because I usually work till, I didn't think we started last year until 3:30.
Yeah, that's correct.
3:30, okay.
3:30 is much better.
Do we interfere then with when school gets out?
No, this is the worst time.
Yeah, for high school kids.
Yeah.
Elementary
It's
school
out at
kids
2:40.
get out there. Yeah.
Okay.
So the parking lot's going to be empty and, the bus is going to be way gone.
Okay.
The 18,000 buses for 2 students are gone.
Okay, so we're saying the first Thursday, October through December.
Well, we're in October.
Let's skip October, it's starting November.
Exactly.
That's fine for me.
Okay.
So November 2nd. 3:30.
2:30 or 3:30? 3:30?
3:30.
Cynthia? Okay, 3:30. Where? Here?
The studio? Is that-
Yeah.
Studio, okay.
Now I can participate by Zoom, I presume?
Mhm.
Yes.
Okay. December?
Works for me.
Okay, good.
And so we need to check with, Megan, who's our clerk.
In December, what would the date be?
Now, let's see, she has kids in school. I wonder if she has any problems.
She's gonna have kids in elementary school,
Yeah,
so 3:30 is around pickup.
so that may be inconvenient for her.
Why don't you get back to us on the
Okay,
time?
yeah. Hopefully she'll show up here.
7 is the first Thursday.
December 7th? Pearl Harbor Day?
And Hanukkah begins at sundown, Pearl Harbor Remembrance Day.
December 5th. First Thursday, sorry.
One thing you'll need to do is prepare an annual report.
Oh.
That's due by January 15th-ish.
Ah,
So depending on how you want to handle it, have it presented one meeting and then approve the next, or just have it presented and then approve it the next. How do you want to do it? So that would.
yeah, I'll see how the timing works out on that.
November again.
We're talking about the need for an annual report at the January meeting, Sue,
Okay,
and Cynthia and Terry.
okay.
Okay?
Yeah, thank you. Yeah, it was a little muffled. Thank you. I appreciate that, Corey.
Okay, well, why don't we get into, our discussion of the 250th?
Yes,
Security surrounding the 250. That's not on the agenda, but we have a guest today sitting next to you to talk about that.
I'm working on that
So-
too. To get you guys more money.
Oh, good, thank you.
Money, money, money.
Yep. It's
So
gonna be an
it's all
expensive
yours.
Mm,
So yeah, we had a meeting yesterday, the regional planning for the 250th event in Concord. And I was sitting next to Carolyn and we discussed what the plans were for CCTV for the parade. And as I stated, have always worked the outer perimeters of the parade, so never knew that it was actually filmed and that it was on the TV. It was new to me. So it would be good to get you people on board with us going forward, because that's going to be a big part of the day as well. And what we need to do as far as passes for you and parking permits and where we're going to set up. So it would be good to get you on board with our logistics team which is Concord Fire, Concord Police, National Parks. And if we could get someone into a meeting with one of our logistics meetings, I think that would be very helpful.
Where is the parade itself?
Concord, it's the,
No, what's the general route?
it starts from Stowe Street, goes through the center of town, up Monument Street
Okay.
to National Parks.
I think that may change a bit because of the size of the
No,
parade.
I
You
think-
think it's gonna be
I think the parade
okay.
route will be the same.
One of the things that we were hoping is to have big cameras, I mean, not camera screens throughout the town so that people could see, people who are like at the bridge at the parade could see the Monument Street parade and along the route, so that where crowds, and they're reconstructing the landscape around Monument Square, right? And on Main Street, so that the crowds have more visibility. But if we can, at some point, I think somebody from this committee and the 250th and security and the studio needs to walk through where would that work if we have connectivity. Is that the word? So that people get to watch this all the way through. And do we have double screen capacity?
We don't. We're more production. We're out there filming. Just the history of MMN has really been just out there gathering footage and then live streaming it on our channels and on our YouTube channel. So when it comes to large screen, I think you would have to go to an outside company.
We'd have to rent the large screens.
Correct.
Right.
All right, so that needs to be in your budget.
Well,
In
somebody's
somebody's
budget.
I, you know, given that
That's
this budget has money,
the 250th budget.
250.
no, the cable station has money. We have $1 million sitting someplace, right?
Is that for capital, or could you be using it for rental?
Well, that's
Yeah,
the
they can use it
appropriated.
for rental. They've rented equipment
Okay.
before.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, we have to look for money for everything else. So I was kind of hoping that we'd be able to use the money that,
Price estimate, see how much it would cost,
Right.
yeah,
see if it's worthwhile.
all right,
Well, one of the things, I know this has come up at the parades and events subcommittee
okay.
of the 250th. And they've also been discussing, you know, what any local audiences do that are at the event. So there's, you know, an AV set up that probably needs to get set up in the National Park. In
So
Concord.
I think you're gonna have national press there too.
Oh, yeah.
So that's gonna be
Right.
that would need to be coordinated, wouldn't it?
No.
No, you don't want it coordinated?
And national press will be their own show.
Yeah.
Okay,
so
they're not gonna
Major
listen
network,
to us.
no.
Okay. Even if we have Fred Ryan, he's a big guy with a deep voice.
Listen to the police, so they don't
Okay.
get their cars and vans towed.
Right.
Okay,
That's,
okay,
you know, but they won't coordinate with us. They'll probably, you know, like if any dignitaries will, you know, they'll coordinate with their people for coverage, depending on who's here. But, you know, are you talking about the Globe or a major news
no,
station?
I'm talking about CNN, Fox,
They will be their own.
MSNBC,
Yeah.
yeah,
They won't coordinate.
Right.
NBC, CBS,
No.
ABS, no, they're all on their own.
I think we really shine in getting the word out as far as like different events, recording meetings. Like if you have parade routes, things like that, that we can put out how-to videos, like where should local residents park, things like that.
Right.
Kind of need to know for people,
Yeah.
and for outside visitors. Like we've worked with the visitor center. That would probably be a great connection. You know, how can we get the word out to people who are coming to the parade
Okay.
where they need to be?
So that was something that we discussed yesterday, and it comes under proposed regional planning groups. And one of the proposed regional planning groups is public information and emergency alerting. And what they did ask is planning to focus on pre-event dissemination of safety and security information to potential attendees, emergency alerting during the event via social media. You wouldn't do code red, we would. But a development of maybe a pre-scripted emergency message, you know, again, hopefully nothing bad happens, but that we would have something, you know, if it did happen, that we could get out to the attendees. or
Quickly
people
on
that
their
are
cell
home.
phone, on their cell phone.
Correct. Yep.
Jason?
But I think that's a great thing too, pre-parade, that we could, you know, hey, here's where the routes are, here's where the activities are.
Here's where the buses are.
Here with
If
big-
you park far away and you want to
Correct.
come in and view the parade.
Because the way we're probably gonna do it is we're gonna shuttle people in. We'll have satellite parking areas throughout the town, and we'll shuttle
Do
people
we have
in.
enough in town, or are we gonna use them like in Arlington, Lexington, oh, coming out? Are we gonna use?
No, we'll have satellite parking. Do you remember the golf tournament we used to have up at
Yeah,
Nishotic?
yeah.
So it's gonna be something like that.
Did they have 200,000 people there?
No. This is a lot bigger than that, but we're gonna do the same sort of thing with, you know, satellite parking. and then busing
Yeah,
it.
no, that I understand. I was just in my head wondering where we were, I mean, thinking that it's vacation week, so high school parking lots.
Yep.
And all the towns, and if we needed more, we could go north rather, west rather than, because they wouldn't be doing the same volume of celebrations.
Yeah, I guess like Acton.
Yeah,
Yep.
Acton
Yep.
and Foxborough, and you know, that there are big lots all over
Correct.
the place that we could.
What's the
utilize.
date of the
So-
actual parade?
Can I jump in? Sounds like we're getting off.
Yeah,
So-
sorry.
No. So it sounds like this, what the police are requesting would be coordinated through Jason, right?
Right.
To MMN. And I mean,
Yeah.
I'm sure your plate is already very full with 2025 assignments. But And then it's up to the committee if they want to engage with an outside company to do large screens, right? But I do think the MMM certainly has a role in information dissemination. There's no question about that, but there's gonna be plenty of information, I bet.
We can't use M&M for the large screens?
Don't.
No.
I mean, no, to rent them.
I don't think so.
I think that MMN, I or my delegate will be attending the planning meetings for the 250th, and we will give information and figure that out. So
Okay,
it's outside the scope. of
so
probably
it's
PAC.
to be determined.
Yes.
Well, where's the podium or, the main parade location going to be in Concord?
So I don't know if that's been determined yet. I would think it would probably be in the same location where it's been in the past, which has been in the center of town. But again, that still hasn't been determined. The date, just to let you know, is April 19th, 2025. It's a Saturday. We usually have it on the Monday, but with the marathon and all of the outside agencies that we're gonna need to utilize, that it was better to have it on the actual date, so Saturday the 19th. But it's gonna be a possibly a week-long, or at
Yeah.
least a weekend-long event.
A week long.
Yeah,
Well, 2024 Patriots Day is going to be kind of a dress rehearsal.
correct.
Isn't it?
Yep, yes.
So, what happens Patriots Day 2024 will be kind of a dress rehearsal for.
I don't think we'll be prepared for that kind of dress rehearsal because of budget constraints, because of elections. The way budgets get public budgets get passed. So we have a skeleton of a dress rehearsal.
It will be, I guess, like maybe last Patriots Day.
Yeah,
Yeah. But the podium AV, who does that, for Concord?
we don't usually have an MC, do we?
The audio video.
No, just a master of ceremonies with a mic and with a camera because they do that in Chelmsford during their 4th of July parade. So that if they see somebody, like if they see Doris Kearns or something, they go up and say, Doris, what are you,
Good idea.
yeah. But we need somebody to,
By the way, I mentioned it to Carlin and I passed it on to some other people. The various 250th committees have done a great job on digging up a lot of archival material. So they in particular, they've dug up quite a bit of stuff on the 200th anniversary. And, in 1975, and that one, President Ford was here in attendance. That entire process, the entire event was covered by Channel 7 in Boston, and they were doing it live for an hour and a half. And somebody captured it on their home VHS machine. So the video is very fuzzy. You get the audio perfectly. And it's on the town website, but I'll send around the link too, just so you can watch
That would be excellent. I'd love to see that.
Because it also covers, there was a New York Times article published that covers kind of all of the preparations that led up to the event. And that's
11-year
also-
prep.
That's also an excellent article. It's a very long story,
Mhm.
actually, that the New York Times reporter did. So that helps with a lot of this stuff, I think.
You said it was an 11-year prep for the 200th?
Bicentennial.
Yep.
Yes.
It was 11 years they planned.
The whole bicentennial
Where?
commission, committee,
They
federal.
had a
level.
bicentennial commission,
Yeah.
yeah. Because my former husband was chair of that in the Senate. So I remember that well. And they put him right in front of President Ford, and I kept going,
The one thing that was interesting about this article that was published on March the 2nd, and the article didn't even say whether President Ford was going to be there.
well, they don't, yeah.
Because of the security.
Security.
And it was after.
And the difference is there were anti-war
Yeah,
protesters.
And there were protesters.
There were protesters and there were incidents, but those weren't protesters who carried guns.
Hmm.
That's a big difference between the protesters of today versus the
Yeah.
protesters.
Well, it was a lot of the sixties people, Pete Seeger was there, and Arlo Guthrie, and
Yes,
a lot of the folk people from the sixties.
a lot of our contemporaries.
Okay, any other
No, so
comments?
again, if we could get someone that could maybe sit in on a logistics meeting with us, I think that would be very helpful.
I'd be happy to,
I will reach out to you.
Okay,
Okay,
thank you,
that'd be
Jason.
great. Yeah.
because I'm working on more money for security.
Oh,
If the president declares it a super security event,
Oh, right.
like they do for
Super Bowl.
Super Bowls and stuff, we'll get, they do a lot
Yeah,
of this, yeah, and they pay for it, which would take a big chunk off,
yes, yep.
like $1 million.
so any other questions from Zoom? Terry, Cynthia, you have any other comments?
Lois?
Lois?
Yeah, for the 375th, we were able to borrow Lex Media's mobile studio. But of course, they're going to be using theirs. I mean, just, some people are going to have things. I was part of the team for that. It's a while ago. We had a bucket truck from, I believe it was the DPW. I don't think it was the light company. It was somebody had a camera there. There was an MC. There were ground cameras on the sides of the street, and we shot, like, I believe it was on Thorough Street, sort of near the train station, and where the it's got another name. It's where the bookstore, the children's bookstore was. That street.
Middle
Right,
Street,
Belknap? Belknap?
What? Yeah,
Belknap?
I think it's the one that goes
Middle Street,
not it's not the street on the.
Academy?
It's like it goes to Academy. It's like in there, yeah. Somewhere
Middle.
right in there. And then across the road. And then there was like people on the side, and then there was a young person who was very fleet of foot and very flexible, who like took a camera and just went up and down and feet, and like could jump in front of people and get them as they came down the street, and then that was all edited. So somewhere at the station, someplace, or the library, there should be footage of that. And I mean, it was basically, it was something that was edited afterwards. I mean, that we had the film, start to finish, because there was somebody was on a start to finish, just straight through, but we had all the other pieces to put in.
Yeah, I don't think
Okay,
they're
so-
gonna.
I mean,
let
that
anybody-
was done
Right.
and the MC was a local person here who, I think she had some acting and presentation kind of experience. Excuse me. And that was, as far as I know, everyone on that crew. There might have been, there were a couple people from the station, but the majority of people on the crew were volunteers. Because that's
Okay.
how, I mean, CCTV did it with much more volunteers than we currently do it.
Okay, Jason, does MMN have any drone equipment yet?
We have some staff who have drones, and we have plans to have a drone in this fiscal year.
Yeah, I think a drone would be,
You're gonna have to see,
Significant
yeah, what security is gonna allow in terms of,
Well, the drone most of them only lasts for a short time. Whereas if you've got a bucket, you can put the camera on it and it just, you can
think the
go
bucket's
straight
important.
through if you want, or you can have, depending on what, whoever's bucket, if you're borrowing a bucket or something of that nature, whatever they allow in terms of OSHA and safety, if they can allow a camera operator, or it just has to be fixed. But That way, usually you can hardwire it up. And, then, you don't have to worry about time.
Right.
And this is going to be, more than likely, it's going to be, what, an hour and a half, 2 hour parade?
There's restrictions flying over people's heads.
Right.
So that's the big concern.
Well, yeah, a lot of,
Just some ideas for you.
Okay, yeah, thanks a lot. Yes, why don't we move on if there's no more questions on this? I think, Jason, we're up with the MMN update.
Sure. So the first update I want to give is for staff, and I have some good news here. First, I want to thank the staff that we have today, which is Tori and Matt, our full-time staff, and some videographers. They've done a fantastic job since our production manager left a few months ago. But we have hired 2 videographers over the summer and part-time videographers to help cover meetings and events. And we've also now hired a media manager who will be starting on October 16th and who will be attending your next meeting. So you'll get to meet her. I'm really excited about that. I don't want to say her name just yet in case she has not given her notice, but she's been hired. So she's very excited to start, and we're excited to have her. Her role will to be a division manager of the town and reporting to me, and I'll still be involved in MMN. I'll still be coming to these meetings and getting you guys whatever it is you need. Still working with Sue, still working on the franchise renegotiation, but this will just be another asset to help Tori do their jobs and really work with the town departments, more boards and committees, the schools, try to get to where we want to be in terms of community engagement. And this person has a lot of experience with PEG, over 10 years, plus more experience with, television beyond that. So we're just really excited. We had a great pool of applicants, and I think we did 8 first-round interviews and multiple second-round interviews, and everybody loves this person. So we're very excited.
Sounds good.
Yeah, and then I wanted to mention at Ripley, we're doing some camera work to replace the equipment there for the school committee meetings. We had done a lot of work last year, but it uncovered some more work to be done. And so we have gotten a PO for that work, and it's been scheduled, or they've purchased the equipment. We're waiting for it to arrive. So it should be another couple weeks. We can actually schedule that. We'll coordinate with the school to let them know when they'll need to have access for a day or 2 for that. That will improve the quality of the cameras. That will mount them the right direction. They'll go to HD or 4K. There'll be a new camera controller. And the best part is that they will be standardizing all of this equipment so that it's like every other location we film. Right now, we have this problem where videographers will learn a particular location, but then they can't go anywhere else because it's all different equipment everywhere. So, and then when there's a phone call that says the camera's not working, the person on the other end of the phone has to think, okay, where are you? What kind of equipment is that? Is that a Sony or is that this will help everybody. And I'm excited about that. And then there was, our broadcast equipment, the equipment we use to send signal to Comcast channels, that is many years old, and we had put some money in the budget for that this year. So we've been talking to vendors about getting a replacement. I've been waiting for the media manager to come on board to help coordinate that because it's going to be a heavy lift, and I don't want to put that all on Matt and Tori. So we're going to be going out to bid through an RFP process because of the threshold for the dollar amount. So we've got sort of a shell of a document. We have some early estimates on what we think this will cost, and then we'll be going out to bid soon once the new employee starts. And then there's been a lot of meetings with Sue and Terry and Vince about the franchise renewal, but we'll talk about that a little bit later. So that's pretty much all I've got.
Have there been any requests? Some people have asked me about specific programming that they'd like to see. And I wonder if that's happened to some other people as well. But a couple of things that people have asked me about. One is kind of interesting regarding the 250th. And that is, considering this preparation cycle, is the notion of doing basically a documentary or getting all of the footage that's been done to date in the Zoom meetings and everything so far, and basically creating a video of the preparation. for the.
Actually, that's a
250th.
good idea.
Oh, yeah, it's been on our list. Mark attended those meetings early on and was trying to be involved in the pipeline. And I know that we've talked a little bit about capturing some of that.
We've been to a couple of meetings just to document, you know, fly on the wall. So like Public Monuments Committee, things like that. And we really welcome any kind of program requests. We're always on the lookout for local programming. So I can send out a link, and it's the program request link for people who want things specifically filmed or documented. We really encourage people to use the link because that's how we staff and equip all the events. You know, whether it's just a hybrid meeting or you want us to just come with cameras, you know, record and edit for a later date. But I can send you the program request link, and I can send it to everyone, and feel free to share that link with anyone, and our entire staff receives that email and we can schedule it into our production calendars. And we'd be happy to record that. That's really what we're here for, is local content. So
Would you be interested in sort of I'm trying to get an intergenerational interest in this, because the feedback I keep getting is if you're not 70 years old, you're not a decision maker in this town. And I know, Jason, you're not, so, or you, but a program maybe bi-weekly
yeah,
with high school students and a high school student, and say a 40-something talking about why this is important. Why are we doing this at all?
and we can do it in multiple avenues. We can
Yeah.
do it as a sit-down TV show. We
Yeah.
also now have a new podcast room.
Okay.
So, you know, we're happy to have people come in, schedule time. If you want to have a discussion with someone and record it as a podcast,
Okay.
that we're happy to do that. We love working with that. And yeah, so feel free to send us requests for any ideas.
Okay.
Another one that's come up, somebody asked me about it. And this was actually the manager over at the Best Western. And I talked to him 3 or 4 weeks ago, and I also passed on some information to you, Jason. I don't know if you had a chance to check on the Wi-Fi, but
I sent that to somebody to do that.
I actually understand. I was specifically concerned about the Wi-Fi in terms of the kids that were going to school, since they have homework to do. But as they understand it, and actually it was an interview that I think that Dr. Hunter did with WBZ, and she was saying that the kids from there that are going to school now, I think she said that 18 are in elementary school, and there's 2 or 3 in middle school and 1 high school student. So I'm not sure how important it is. I don't know when they start out, kids in the elementary school, you know, in terms of their devices and stuff.
Pretty,
Yeah.
they're better than we are. They're called natives. We're called immigrants,
Oh, okay.
okay, in terms of electronics,
Yeah.
because they have iPad. My grandchildren have iPads that they're all over. They know how to set off a nuclear bomb on the other side of the world or something. I mean, it's just, that's an exaggeration, but
Well, the problem over at the Best Western is that their
are they wired?
Wi-Fi didn't seem to be very speedy.
Mm.
As a matter of fact, it was like DSL, if anybody remembers DSL.
Phone thing?
Yes, I'll just say that's way out of our control, unfortunately.
Yeah.
So,
Is it?
yes.
Tech access,
It's
yes.
Supervised by the state and.
Yeah.
Yes, so, but it's the hotel, really, because they're the vendor. Yeah, so
But
anyway,
anyway, he was interested in coverage mainly to get the message out that the people there now, the families, you know, at least the breadwinner they're looking for work.
Do they
And-
have work permits?
Well, that's one of the issues.
Yeah.
It's the issue with the state. That they couldn't get it even if they could find it. But he's also concerned about the timing because he says that if they're there for a year or a very long period of time without any work,
Right, right.
they're just gonna stop looking. I mean, you know, they're gonna become welfare recipients at that point.
Well, I heard the governor on GBH yesterday. And she's really pushing the feds. It's the feds that need to give her authorization for the work permits. And I'm happy to make a call to the governor's office. That's
Credit
really
to
important.
Venezuelans but not, most of these, from my understanding, are from Haiti. So,
Well, we have big Haitian communities in the Commonwealth, so
No.
we're not,
but
but we've done this before. It's not our first rodeo. So we should know, we
that's
should have,
a committee. That's,
yeah,
yeah.
we should have a process, I hope.
So anyway, I don't know if there's, you know, I guess there's some more general reasons maybe for, you know, doing some coverage of, you know, the immigrants in town anyway, and, you know, although there is, you know, there's quite a bit done all over the state, you know, about the situation in various places in the state. And, you know, I think we've seen some of the local stations do it for particular towns. You know,
I
the
think that's a
Boston
good idea
station.
because there are a lot of questions about that. People are really confused and
Yes, even informing Concord residents basically on what's going on and, you know, what's happening now and how long are they gonna be there? And how do they get across Route 2?
yeah, I gave a ride to a person, plus the English as a second language. Because I thought they were, having lived in West Concord, going to the prison. And they weren't, you know, it took me a minute. It took me a while where you went up and down Route 2 until they kept pointing and they went, oh, okay, over there. Yeah. And there are just a lot of questions about, and I know Simon Cataldo, our state rep, the legislature wasn't informed. Local officials weren't informed, were they? School officials? No, nobody was informed. It just
Always,
happened.
you know, a midnight surprise.
Mhm.
So, but it's the law in Massachusetts, they have to be housed. So, I mean, that's good, but. And there's
It's
just not enough housing.
complicated.
And
it's
so
complicated.
hopefully these hotels are not occupied for the most part, and so that's where people are gonna go.
Well, initially they evicted some of
Yeah,
the people living there who were gonna be homeless if they were evicted, so that had to be resolved. According to rumor, I don't know, you probably know better.
No comment.
Okay. But doing a program on that, I can see would be.
Yes. Yeah, so.
Want
anyway,
me
I
to
was just
suggest
wondering
it to
generally
Simon
about-
Cataldo? He's our rep. He would have more answers than anybody. Would you like me to do that?
Well, yeah, that would be useful. Well, and something else that raises, you know, kind of an issue about what kind of programming is going to be done, you know, for instance, from the League of Women Voters on candidates in this upcoming election year.
Candidates forum, at least one, maybe two.
I remember when seeing it on the video because I wasn't paying attention at the time, but when Elizabeth Warren ran for the first time, she was here, and I believe you were the MC, as a matter of fact. On that.
That wasn't her first run. That was the August evening, Friday night. I told her nobody would be in Concord when 1,500 people showed up.
Well, that was
Remember
one of the most.
Remember? I thought, whoa. Yeah, it was, she'd been in office for a while. I was still in
Okay.
office, but she was in office for a while.
But she's
So-
doing, what does she call them, town?
Like town halls, town hall meetings or town forums, yeah. Yeah. So she may be back
Yeah,
because she's up.
indeed. Well, and it could be.
And yeah, we have a lot of people up right in the middle of planning for the 250th.
Okay. I think we've got enough events here going for Jason for a while.
All noted.
Having fun, Jason?
Okay, let's see, I think we've got a few minutes going before Sue steps in. I don't have anything specific, but I did have an item on the agenda here called future agenda items. And I did a brief write-up, and this is just a very rough draft, and you don't really need to look at it. Now, the only thing I wanted to comment on, and it's something that Carlin and I have kind of discussed over a number of years now, actually, was an update to actually two mission statements. One is the mission statement of the PEG Access Committee. And historically, there's always been three items on it. One was the oversight and responsibilities for the Comcast contract. The second has been the oversight of MMN, and that dates back actually to 2017 when the management on MMN changed from CCTV, who was then a 501(c) corporation, to its current status as basically a town department. I don't know any other way to describe it at this point.
We're not a 501(c)(3) anymore?
No, we haven't done that since 2017. Town department.
And then yes, that was somewhat controversial when it happened.
I can understand why.
The third item has been to
No offense, Jason.
Oh, no, I wasn't here.
I didn't want to.
Yeah.
well, it may come up again.
It's about structure, and it's about money.
Yeah, the third item has been to keep town government in general, but specifically the town manager and select board up to date on technology and industry trends. And that is certainly even more important now just because of all of the changes in the industry, particularly since 2014. But streaming TV, there's a bill in the state legislature now to put a tax on streaming services.
Yeah, which I thought there's already a user fee, so I meant to talk to Simon about that. Do we need more taxes?
Well, see, MMN does not receive any revenues except from Comcast.
I know.
Cable, not
So-
for internet. Just for cable. So
Yeah.
as Comcast moves all of their television from cable to streaming,
Oh, we wouldn't get
all
it.
of that revenue goes away.
Oh, okay. Now that you put it that way, Jason, I have a different understanding of how important it is. Okay, that's why there's a, because I went, wait a minute, we already tax
That
it.
has been the trend.
Okay,
Our number of
So that we still
subscribers
get
that
the
we're
users.
seeing in town have dropped significantly.
can somebody explain to me, and maybe now's not the time, and I'd be happy to wait, the difference between streaming and cable?
Well, the lines are blurred now, but it used to be a different service, different technology. But now, cable is delivered over internet signals, but it's just converted in a box to channels that you can watch. But that's the problem, is that
That's why I don't
traditionally,
understand it, because I
they're-
still get it by clicking
the-
and,
the packages that they have now are going to be blurred, as you've seen fights recently between service delivery providers and content creators. Eventually it's all gonna be streaming. And so where does the revenue for PEG access go?
okay.
So So there is one other thing that is going to come up, and it's usually difficult to predict the future. But in this case, we have even now know what's going to happen with another significant piece of technology, and that is that the industry is moving from ATSC 1.0 to ATSC 3.0. ATSC was what introduced us to the set-top box in, I think it was the year 2000. And you remember that everybody had to switch over their TVs to the new standard by getting a box. And this worked with, the old CRT televisions and stuff like that. So since then, for over the past 20 years now, all of the television sets have evolved into being digital devices. So all of the large screen TVs now are ATSC 1.0. The change to ATSC 3.0 is going to be deja vu all over again. The same thing is going to happen.
We need a new box.
You either need a new box or a new TV. And
How much are they gonna charge us for these boxes? Is that what we're,
well, it's a boon for the industry because they haven't had a nice big ticket like
Yeah.
big panel TVs since 20 years ago, when they all had to start buying the big flat panel TVs. So we know it's going to happen because, they see this great new revenue stream coming from selling us a whole set of new big screen TVs. And, but there's issues.
but you said we either need a new TV or a new box.
Yes, but the box ultimately,
Talks to the TV.
it talks to the TV, so when your TV set dies, then you'll buy a new one. And for some reason, they don't seem to last as long now as they used to. But the even more significant thing is that because of these new broadcast standards, the local TV channels in particular are going to try to change the ground rules from the way people view it, and you may have to start paying fees to subscribe to local TV.
I don't think that would be a good idea.
Well, the formal switchover is in something like 7, when everything is supposed to be switched over. So that means that all of the local TV channels will have their ducks lined up in terms of how they're going to be collecting revenue. So it's a big issue right now. What they're talking about now, in order to enforce this, is that it's going to be encrypted. Signal is going to be encrypted, so you have to basically log in. Now that will happen automatically. It's not like anybody's going to have to learn new passwords, but they get most of their revenue now from what's called retransmission fees, meaning that the cable companies get paid. I mean, the cable companies get paid. The cable companies pay the local channels transmission fees for the privilege of doing it on their cable channel. That's why there's always, issues. Sometimes you hear that, that Channel 7 was in negotiation with Comcast to broadcast on it. So it's changing the equation for the way that we get local TV reception, and it's going to happen because of all the money involved, because of the technology. So here's
Carlin, did you? Oh, sorry.
well, no, this is the advisory aspect of that, is to get the word out and potentially advocacy out about it, because there's going to be a lot of advocacy needed.
You mean who wants to tell people who are already feeling overtaxed and overburdened financially in every way that they may have to pay for local TV now? I'll let somebody else
Right.
do that.
Well, it's fortunate because, we have Senator Markey, for instance, who's the ranking member of Congress. You know, previously
On the
in the
committee,
House, but now
on the
in
committee,
Senate,
yeah.
who, you know, probably will end up taking the biggest initiative on this. But, you know, it's certainly going to be good for him to get the feedback starting as soon as possible. Because they're already testing out the standard and the encryption is already happening. So people that are, you know, very early adopters, even in the Boston area, are already finding it out with their new little set-top boxes that they're trying it out with.
So what do you want Senator Markey's office to know?
Well, he should know that people don't want to pay for broadcast TV.
Right.
Anyway,
I think he knows that, but I'll reinforce that.
so anyway, that was the last piece of the little triangle that Big Access does about, you know, advising the appropriate people in town government about what's happening to the technology.
Beyond that, is there anything we need to do with advising our government about the change in channels? Migration from channel 99 to channel 22, or the education component?
Is there something that we need to do?
Do we
What?
need to tell anybody about it?
Yes, we do need to tell people about it. So I've been working with Donna and the communications manager in the town to figure out a plan to roll that out. Comcast in our agreement provides for reimbursement up to $1,000. So we've been meeting, Matt and Tori and I, to talk about what can we do to get new branding things, materials, anything that has the channels printed on it will have to be reordered. So we've been making lists of all that.
Customers like me received a notice from Comcast saying, hey, as of October 16,
Soon, yeah, a
your
couple
paid
weeks.
channels are now 8, 9, and 22.
Yep,
So
down
anything
from
that we
99.
have set in our reports that say 99, we switched to 22, so that's a modification. Aside from that, are there issues that you foresee?
I mean, generally, they're supposed to have a reason to move the channels, not just move them. That's what in fact, Sue mentioned that that's a unique clause in the contract that they shouldn't move it for no reason. So I have not yet heard their argument for why they needed to move it. I would be curious to know if the local rep has one, but just getting the word out so people know. But the good news is, like, we can, you know, first of all, in terms of the number of viewers, it's hard for us to know. We just can, based on the programming that people watch online services, that gives us a clue how many people watch those channels. So we'll put advertisements on those channels, on the current channel, and then let people know that they need to switch over to this channel afterward. But, you know, and then the guide will show what channel it is. It won't show what's programming, obviously.
If somebody can get it out to the bridge too, so that the bridge, you
Yeah.
know, gets it out to the population.
And you know, especially when we get farther on the negotiations, I don't know what part of that is done with press in the room and what part isn't, but transparency is a big issue with voters, subscribers. So having somebody who writes that for the bridge is could be very important.
So there's
Okay, well-
$1,000 that Comcast is putting that in the bridge, at
Right.
least. Not just an article, but
We have to weigh benefit of all the different
Yeah.
advertisements and
it's worth it.
materials we have to spend, so.
Yeah, because I don't think you have to.
No,
You could cover it. They could do a story.
yeah, I think
Yeah,
it's
yeah.
because it's not a one and done, because.
Right.
Right.
No, I get that. It's a 15 just to get
Yeah,
it up there somewhere.
yeah, gotta repeat yourself.
Okay, well, we are coming up on 3:30. So time for us to adjourn and go into
There's some certain language.
executive session. However, are there any other public comments? Anybody on Zoom that has any comments on what we've discussed so far?
How does the executive session work? Is there a different Zoom link?
No, we're gonna put, enable the waiting room, put everybody who's not a committee member in the waiting room, and then lock the, and stop the recording.
Can we record are you doing a breakout room?
No, I was not gonna record the executive session because we're gonna take
Who's gonna
minutes during
take
it, but
minutes?
if you want to, well, Megan is, I don't know, depends who do you want to take.
Well, I will take,
I can leave the recording and we'll just trim the video if you want, but,
that would be easier.
okay,
Yeah.
yep, we can just have them edit out the executive session,
You've got certain language you're supposed to.
right,
read.
before you adjourn.
Yes, yeah, yeah, yeah.
Did
See
you
guys
put
later.
that in the?
Thank you all
agenda?
very much.
Hi,
Thank you,
Carlin.
everybody. And nice to meet you. My apologies for calling it CCTV. I'm living in the early 2000s. It is
It's okay.
MMN.
Okay, I mean, we all do it. Don't worry about it.
And again, thank you.
Do.
And we have to identify which purpose of the open meeting law we're using, and we then should identify who we're,
That's what Vince is supposed to read.
Right.
okay. It should be in the agenda next time, if you do another one.
Yes, we are going to adjourn now to executive session. So, do I have a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
We have to identify which purpose of the open meeting law we're using.
Right. I sent that to you in an email.
Yeah.
So
do I have a second to?
Second.
But we don't have a motion yet, because we have to identify which purpose. Or we'll be in violation.
You have to say I move to adjourn into
Motion
executive
to
session
adjourn to executive session.
for this reason. So I'm gonna look up the reason that I sent you.
We're negotiating the
Two or
contract.
three, I'm just not sure which one you're using.
I thought it was 3.
Yeah.
Let me see. Yeah, it was 3, I believe. So wait, hold on. No, that's not the email that I sent you.
So I'll just, Jason, is to discuss strategy with respect to collective bargaining or litigation if an open meeting may have detrimental effect on the bargaining or litigation position of the public body and the chair so declares.
So actually, we used, council recommended actually, number 6, which was, so something like this, executive session pursuant to general law, chapter 30A, section 21A, number 6, to consider the purchase, exchange, lease, or value of real property because an open meeting may have a detrimental effect on the negotiating position of the public body. That was the one that other committees use.
You said right away.
Oh, do I say specifically to adjourn for?
Right, to enter into
Item
that.
6.
Yes, for item 6.
So we are adjourning our regular session and will reconvene under section item 6 to go into executive session.
And we're not going to return to regular session, correct?
We're not going to return to regular session. So do I have a motion to adjourn our regular session?
So moved.
Second,
We do
I
roll,
agree. So we are now adjourned from.
do
our-
roll call.
Roll
You
call
need to do
vote.
roll call.
aye.
Aye.
And I say aye.
Rainy, aye.
Okay.
Harry?